everyone. In today's class, now we will discuss on the set 3 of Santali alphabets. Series E. E is a vowel. Other are consonants. This is the third set of the Santali alphabet. Let's take a closer look at each of them one by one. The first letter of the set we have here is E. This letter is pronounced E in Santali. It is a vowel. In Santali, it is called Raha Arang. E is derived from the picture of a bending branch of tree being blown by wind. To write E in the first step, we will draw a semicircle from left to right on top. In the second stroke, draw a straight line downward from the end of the semicircle. And in third stroke, starts from end of the semicircle to draw a diagonal line downward left. In this way, E is graphically written. This letter occurs in all positions as initially, medially, and finally from the viewpoint of orthography. The examples are as follows. Word initially, it can appear in ill, means feather. Word medially, it can appear in seam, means hen. Word finally, it can appear in ti, means hand. E has a separate handwritten form. It looks like. Now let's try to write the letter. To write E, we will draw a curve from top to middle on the left. Then turn the curve upward right to the top. From there, it draws vertically up to bottom and ends turn upward slightly on the right without any break. You have now successfully written the letter E. The second letter of the set is is. This letter is pronounced is in Santali. It is a consonant. In Santali, it is called Keche Arang. Is framed as the picture of standing plough with its wooden rod. Dear learners, to write is, in the first step, we will draw a vertical line from top to the bottom and draw a semicircle from the bottom of the vertical to the right side. Finally, draw a diagonal upward from the joining of the vertical and semicircle. In this way, is graphically written. This letter occurs in all positions as initially, medially, and finally from the viewpoint of orthography. The examples are as follows. Word initially, it can appear in short, means honest. Word medially, it can appear in so, means marking nut tree. Word finally, it can appear in Joss, means M. Is has a separate handwritten form. It looks like. Now let's try to write the letter using some simple steps. To write is, we will start with a small slanted line from left to right upwards. Then draw the line vertically up to middle. Thereafter, the line turn towards right. Finally, draw a slanted line in between the joining of the slanted line and vertical line right upward. You have now successfully written the letter is. The third letter of this set is I. This letter is pronounced I in Santali. It is a consonant. In Santali, it is called Keche Arang. I is framed as the picture of rising hands of a feared man. To write, in the first step, we will draw a semicircle from the top left to the bottom left. From that end, draw a small diagonal upwards to the right, and from that end, draw a similar diagonal downwards to the right. Finally, draw a semicircle from there to the top right. In this way, E is graphically written. This letter occurs in all positions as initially, medially, and finally from the viewpoint of orthography. The examples are as follows. What initially it can appear in hawk means right. What medially it can appear in laha means in front of. What finally it can appear in bah means wow. E has a separate handwritten form. It looks like. Now let's try to write the letter. To write E, we will start with a very small curve from left to right upwards and bend it from the top to the bottom. Then draw a small curve upwards to the right, and from there draw a small curve downwards to the right. Then draw it upwards, and finally it turn round from right to left and cross the upper part of the curve on the right without stopping. It is like small letter W in English. In this way, you can practice writing perfectly E. The fourth letter of this set we have here is in. This letter is pronounced in Santali. It is a consonant. In Santali, it is called kecet ara. In is framed as the picture of indicating oneself by touching its chest with the hand. Dear learner, to write in the first step, we will draw a vertical line descends from the top, followed by a small diagonal rising to the left from the left side of the line, and a semicircle begins from there and descends left downward. Finally, a small diagonal ascends from left to right and meet the vertical line in the middle. In this way, in is graphically written. This letter occurs in all positions as initially, medially, and finally from the viewpoint of orthography. The examples are as follows. What initially it can appear in nyam means find. What medially it can appear in anchar means end part of a sari. What finally it can appear in ten means wave. Santali has a separate handwritten form of in. It looks like. Now let's try to write the letter. It is like small letter Q in English. To write in, we will start right upward from top to left and make a zero shape. Then draw it downward at the bottom. Finally, it continues a small slanted line. Okay, this way you can practice writing perfectly in. The fifth letter of this set we have here is Ir. This letter is called Ir in Santali. It is consonant. In Santali, it is called kecetaran. Ir is framed as the picture of harvesting crop by a sickle. Dear learner, to write it, in the first step, we will draw a small diagonal from left to right upward. From there, draw a small diagonal downwards to the right. And from the end of the diagonal, a semicircle starts and moves upwards to the right to left. Finally, from near the end of the semicircle, draw a diagonal downwards to the right and join the semicircle in the middle. In this way, it is graphically written. This letter occurs in all positions as initially, medially, and finally from the viewpoint of orthography. The examples are as follows. What initially it can appear in raw means fly. What medially it can appear in tarom means honeybee. What finally it can appear in near means run. Santali has a separate handwritten form of ear. It looks like. Now let's practice writing this letter. To write ear, we will start with a small diagonal line from left to right upward at the bottom and then turn downwards to the right to form a curve. Then draw a semicircle up to the top. And finally, turn it up from right to left and cross the top of the semicircle up to the right without stopping. Okay, in this way you can practice writing perfectly ear. Wonderful. Keep on practicing these letters for perfection. Goodbye for today. See you again in the next class.